3-year-old Anthony Mitchell died of hypothermia while in custody. And it's such a weird way for someone to die in jail that the physician who tried to treat him said, "I'm not sure what circumstances the patient was held in incarceration, but it is difficult to understand a rectal temperature of 72 degrees Fahrenheit while someone is incarcerated in jail."
Told you you'd find this interesting. Wild, right? A normal rectal temperature
it's like
is
98.
Yeah! If you don't understand, like, you guys are like thinking, like, wait, your insides are never supposed to be that cold.
No! Yeah. Listen, I'm telling you, if...
But why are you such an expert on this?
My dad was a whole ass nurse, so I could always ask him questions about everything. Everything that was like health related, I would ask him questions like for some stupid reason.
Stupid. I'm so dumb. I would like butt stuff. That's what
And I'm the juvenile one, right?
Listen. If I had like, must be butt stuff. That's why I actually people do butt stuff. They just take thermometers and be like, ooh, but
Abba, you're a whole fool out here, aren't you? Abba, here's Preach about to go in the intellect, and here's Abba. Butt stuff.
He's ready, Your Highness.
French cuisine, don't mind if I do.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing they have,
the baguette is ready for the oven.
For you to be considered like feverish, you don't need to be. It's not 10 degrees. If you're at 37 degrees and that's your normal, or 36 right now, 38 is a fever. Mm-hmm. That's 2 degrees. If your body temperature is 2 degrees off, there's a big ass problem. No pun intended. Yep. But there's a big problem. Like if it's over or if it's under. This, nah, B. Nah. That's not even. It's not the fact. It's someone.
I'm thinking at that temperature, the person's already dead. I don't understand how someone's body can even run at a temperature like that.
Froze some shit.
And how did this man die this way?
And adding, the cause of his hypothermia is not clear. It is possible he had an underlying medical condition resulting in hypothermia. Do not know if he could have been exposed to a cold environment. But closing, I do believe the hypothermia was the ultimate cause of his death. But some of that mystery is being figured out after Mitchell's family filed a lawsuit against jail officials and workers, with it being alleged that Mitchell was actually thrown naked into a walk-in food freezer as punishment for giving the officers a hard time. Now, normally you can just get out of those freezers, but reportedly Mitchell was strapped to a restraining chair to keep him in place. And after hours there, they finally got him out, and he was obviously unresponsive, with him then reportedly dragging him naked throughout the jail before putting him in a patrol vehicle and driving him to the hospital. And at no point was an ambulance called. And the family apparently only knows so many of these details because a hero officer at the jail recorded the security footage on her phone and handed it to the family. And this is a story that should matter in general, but one that also especially matters with the United States.
Okay, it had nothing to do with butt stuff. My bad.
I want you guys to think about how fucked up that is.
Yeah, that you're in a jail and they put you in a fucking freezer and you die of a hypothermia.
You know what? This is how normalized this shit is in my head.
They put him in a deep freezer as punishment. This is what we've heard about, right? In a deep freezer. Deep. You know, the thing that you put meat in, you know, nice and squishy, and by the time you go to get it again, it's a solid, hard block. And they strapped him to a chair. Naked.
That's not even the fucked up part. The fucked up part is that somebody filmed it, put it out to the family, and she was called a hero.
Yeah, that's what she's supposed to do.
She did what police officers should do, which is take care of crime.
Mm-hmm.
And she was called a hero.
Yep.
Wow.
These people killed this man because he was giving them a hard time. They threw him in a freezer like it was a mafia movie, okay? And they murdered him.
He's right.
Plain and simple. I mean, sorry, listen, just because it's not an oven or a gas chamber, don't mean it's not deadly. You got.
My question is, was he on somebody's payroll? Did he go ahead and wrong the wrong person? Was he supposed to be on trial in some case? Was he a witness somewhere? Because that has to go into my mind now when you hear something like this happens. Did they just eliminate some competition? Was this a mob hit? Because I've never heard of punishment like that. That's not punishment in my world. That's just killing somebody.
You would lose your goddamn minds if you was a gas chamber. What's the difference? I'm sorry, but
True.
just the idea, the framing of this whole story is already absurd enough as it is. But people think it's heroic for a cop just to do the right thing, which lets you know the way people view policing officer work in general. Telling
True.
the truth, abiding by your oath is heroic. It's just interesting. You know, like if a doctor saves a life, nobody says he's a hero.
But
That's his job.
But the thing that happened is that the reason why she's a hero is because
Let me see if I'm gonna guess what he's about to say. Is because he went against that code, the code of silence, the code that says what happens with police officers is a part of the brotherhood. That nobody betrays the brotherhood, especially the brotherhood. Right? We stick together. It's not me, you, and the inmates, and it's not the public, better, good. No, it's me and you. That's all we have. My brother in blue, right?
a man that was giving them a hard time, this is what they did to them. And that's a woman in the force, surrounded with men. What are they going to do to her if they find out that she's snitching on them?
Yeah.
That's why she's a hero. No, her knowing all of this, knowing how if they got caught, this is not a first occurrence.
Wait. Are you saying they might go after her for snitching?
Yes.
Are we talking about a criminal gang?
But there's a brotherhood. You don't go snitching on your people like that.
100%.
Her as a woman, if she would be done up. That's the reason why she is a hero, because she did all that thing and she might have got.
The lawsuit filed by his family today names the sheriff and other personnel at that jail. CBS 42's Carly Lang's been going through that lawsuit, which includes some images from inside the jail. Carly.
In it, you can see Anthony Mitchell here in the orange being carried by personnel at the Walker County Sheriff's Office. His family, who calls him Tony, told me he ended up in the Walker County Jail after they called for a welfare check. Tonight, there's a lot of outrage about this video and the images that have come to light because of the family's lawsuit. We have that right here. As CBS 42 reported last week, this video contradicts the statement we received from the Walker County Sheriff's Office about Tony Mitchell's condition when he left the jail. That statement reads in part, quote, "The inmate was alert and conscious when he left the facility and arrived at the hospital." Now, as you can see in this video,
Sorry to cut you, Abba. Again, if people aren't lying, why is there a clear and utter, just complete opposite of a story? Okay, maybe they missed the part where he was dragged into the car instead of walking of his own volition. They missed that part. It slipped all of their minds. All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that was standing there, whoever, how many it was. It slipped all of their minds. They all just mass hallucinations and all just saw the same thing. Yeah, you saw him walk out, right? He was talking, he was chopping it up with everybody. He just says he wasn't feeling good, right? You could tell you could see the truth in the lies people tell. The obvious lies people tell.
I even give you guys any of my opinions. I just want you guys to appreciate the only reason this got out is because one of the other officers told the truth about what had happened. Meaning all those officers committed perjury and lied about what had happened. Yeah. They all lied about it, and it was a conspiracy, a very real one, in which they all forged a story in order to cover their own asses. And only another officer willing to put themselves at risk made this thing happen.
And to add insult to that injury, if it was an officer, not somebody higher up in management who came to this realization, that tells me that, because again, let's be real, if somebody ends up getting dragged out of your facility and that person ends up being found dead, I know in a position of, authority or supervisory position, you're going to go review those tapes. You're going to want to have all the information at hand to make sure you knew exactly what happened. So when the questions come, you have answers. So that tells me it's not just those officers that were there. It goes all the way up the ladder. It goes all the way up. Because there's no way that's going to get past a supervisor. There's no way that's going to get past the supervisor's supervisor. Or whoever the heck runs the warden, the jail person, whoever runs it, right? It's not going to get past them. But it took an officer for this information to get out? Crooked. all the way around.
Imagine all the times where this doesn't happen. If these guys threw this guy in for just being a disobedient person, they threw him in the freezer just for being disobedient. Imagine what else these guys have done. Because you know it ain't their first time. Considering how many people die in jail and police custody. Okay? Do you truly believe this is their first time potentially killing somebody? The way that they so effortlessly lied and all helped cover it up. Do you think it's their first time?
That was some professionalism.
Mind you, these are not violent criminals. When you're put in jail, this is not a prison. This is jail. This is sometimes where you get held when you don't have bond to even go to court. This is sometimes where you go when you have a DUI. This is sometimes where you go when you're under suspicion of certain things.
Yeah.
This is a jail, not prison. You know when they say, if you have nothing to be afraid, just don't resist and go with the officer. This is what happens at that place. So appreciate the fact that this is a story, but it's actually an indication of a larger issue.
What's the bigger issue? That cops are human? Yeah, they are. They are.
That's a good point. Cops are human. And humans are flawed. And the only way we can handle a situation like this is through accountability. Not trust. Verification. Verification, not trust.
Human. Yep, very much human. As much as there are people in business places that have power trips, they have power trip. They actually have powers. Shit, they got guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trust is done. More and more things like that are coming out.
Anthony Tony Mitchell appears limp and unconscious. Claims made in this lawsuit give a closer look at what his family believes happened to him during his 2 weeks in the Walker County Jail. That's where he had been in custody since his arrest on January 12th. According to court documents, Mitchell froze to death. The lawsuit states he arrived at the hospital with a body temperature of 72 degrees. And this lawsuit claims Mitchell was likely placed
at 72 degrees. That gentleman was dead. At 72 degrees, that gentleman was dead. They're limping a dead body into that car.
In a restraint chair in the jail kitchen's walk-in freezer or similar environment and left there for hours. This lawsuit also details graphic and disturbing details about Tony's last days of life, claiming he was tased, neglected, put in a freezer, and left for dead as officers and staff ignored his medical needs. Now, screenshots from jail surveillance video show Mitchell on the floor, naked in what appears to be an office. That suit claims Mitchell was left for 5 hours as numerous corrections officers and medical staff, quote, wandered over to his open cell door to spectate and be entertained by his condition, end quote. Now, that suit also praises the bravery of a corrections officer who has since been fired for taking the video and sharing it.
Hold on. Do you see what the fuck I was telling you?
Disgusting.
When I told you the reason why she was called a hero?
This might be one of the most disgusting things I've seen.
Whoa.
But do you know?
Did that prove my point? They had one of their own that stood up and said, no, this is wrong. This information needs to get out. And that's the one that got fired? No. That person should have gotten a severance, not fired. They should have gotten a severance and a good pay for 2-3 years down the line. Because let's be real. You think it's okay? It's going to be safe for her to go back to that job anyway? Let's be honest. No, it wouldn't be safe for her to go back to that job. So the best case scenario is for her to leave. Is for her to be, promoted or moved on to something else. But fired. I'd love to know for what.
You understand?
There should be laws for whistleblowing, and that should be a lawsuit.
And now
They spectated while this man was freezing.
yeah, but
Like he was a piece of steak that they pulled out of the freezer and watched thaw. Disgusting.
now do you understand why I said she was a hero? Because she lost her job.
And I want y'all to appreciate this is a wrongful death lawsuit, meaning there may not even be charges pressed against any of these fucking despicable people.
No. And the person that actually said something lost their job. Did you hear that shit?
That's a good point, because I haven't heard any of those officers gotten fired yet. I haven't heard that, but the person who shared the video was fired before the cops that were involved in this?
Now you understand why I say that shit. So the person that actually did the right thing, that actually went there, sacrificed a whole lot. And that's we don't even know if her life is going to be in jeopardy. These people are not going to do something to her whenever she's going to be outside or whatever, whatnot. You know how it is. Gangs moving gangs. You know what I mean? So, and that person lost their job. Why did they lose their job? Why? Because they didn't go through protocol, and they didn't go.
Nah, because there should be. I'm pretty sure whistleblower. I'm not sure if it's only about finances, but that should cover whistleblower stuff. That right there. Maybe you're supposed to bring it to the right authorities or blah 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 blah. But that should fall under that right there. Guys, I'm gonna cut it short right there. There's only a little bit left. That, just like Abba said, that must be one of the most disgusting treatments I've ever seen. The cover up from the punishment to the cover up of all the officers involved, to the one person that brought this to public attention being the one that got fired. That person got fired, but I didn't hear a single thing about those other officers getting fired. Maybe I missed it. Let me know. But I didn't hear anything about that. And that is what's truly disgusting on top of everything else. Guys, I appreciate you kicking in for another video. So this one is a doozy. I'll see you in the next one, all right? Peace.